couple of things, you'll figure out this is what I think I like. And as you go further and you get slightly older, you'll hone the skill and figure out better what you like. But let's be honest, we all want a shortcut to everything in life. So at least we do a great psychometric test, which kind of underlies my philosophy of it should not only be aptitude, because I don't want anyone to wake up one day at 40 and say, I may be very good at this, but I hate it. So it marries both aptitude and passion. It's a quick test under 30 minutes, and it gives me a shockingly accurate picture of what you will be doing in the future. So that could be one tool. Anyone who needs more specific information about anything else, I will share contact information at the end. Shoot us a mail and we can always help you individually. More questions? Yes, please.
It's a question based on a course. So is architecture possible with commerce?
In the Indian scenario, I think it may be difficult because there are certain prerequisites. Right?
No, I have searched in many colleges, but
right.
all of them take with science. But I got a college which it takes with commerce. But this year was the last batch which it took.
Right. So in India, I think it will be difficult. Internationally, there are things that you could do outside the curriculum to showcase that you have the aptitude for architecture, things like creating a portfolio, and you could still do architecture. But some math, something analytical would be required, which can happen outside the curriculum. So that's your dream, right? We can help you find a way to still make it happen without feeling that you're taking some sort of beating in the process. More questions?
Can you do double degrees in India at an undergraduate level?
Depends very specifically on the college and what it offers. It's typically not a common way or a common offering by most universities because one degree itself is challenging. Even globally, dual degrees, I'm not talking about double majors, but dual degrees are very challenging and are not easy to even get accepted into or to do. So I think it's better to try and do one degree at the undergraduate level, do it well, and then follow it with perhaps a double master's. Yes?
How important are
how
important are aptitude tests like SAT or IELTS in order to get admission into any foreign business school?
That's a great question, right? So I'm just going to use that to segue into a few requirements that you need if you're looking at perhaps studying in a few universities in India as well as universities abroad. So in case you want to write this down, most universities, if you're keeping your doors open especially, will require either the SAT or the ACT. So universities that say they accept both, truly accept both and don't have a preference, they're not trying to lie to you, there is no secret that they like one more than the other. If they accept the SAT and the ACT, then they like both equally. The SAT is out of 1600. The next SAT that will be offered will be in the month of March, followed then by May and then October. So it's offered only 4 times a year. So it's important that we plan ahead. You register for the test a month in advance. Right? It's a paper and pencil test, you go to a center, it's 4 hours long, and again, while it is quote-unquote aptitude, there is a fair amount of prep that goes into it. So don't go there thinking, I'm just going to try and see how good I am. You need to prepare for it. It's a competitive test, they're using it to see how you're going to perform in college. Right? So most universities in the US, few in Canada, few in Asia for sure, and some in India like Ashoka need the SAT or the ACT. The ACT is out of 36. It has recently, as of last September, moved to an electronic format. Doesn't mean you do it at home, you still do it at a center, but it's online. And again, it's offered a few times in the year. The IELTS has another equivalent called the TOEFL. You could take either or. Most universities in the US and Canada prefer the TOEFL. Australia, UK, and Asia prefers the IELTS. Again, you may be doing a combination of the US and Asia, then we'll help you navigate which test to take. Most of these tests are valid for 2 years, and not the IELTS or TOEFL. I wouldn't advise that you think of it like that. Do one attempt and be done with it. But both the SAT and the ACT, unlike exams that we are used to, can be taken more than once. Right? So it's to your advantage to say, look, I'm going to try and better the score. It is not like you failed and you're taking it again. They even allow you to combine the 2 attempts to come up with the highest individual score. Right? So that's again something you can use to your advantage. So plan to take at least 2 attempts.
May I follow up?
Yes, please.
Ma'am, I've heard of suggestions of people telling me that an essay for an Indian student is pretty compulsory sort of thing in order to get into a foreign university. So, do you think does that really matter while applying for your university or college?
So I'm confused. Which essay is this?
For the SAT.
Okay.
The essay. So
Yeah.
a lot of people have told me that
It is
essay
required.
for Indian student is kind of compulsory.
Right.
So how?
So I highly recommend taking it. I'll tell you why. Over the last few years, since the SAT changed, most universities are looking more and more leniently on the essay. So we feel every year the policies are changing and fewer schools need the essay. But the essay doesn't contribute to your overall score of 1600. You get a separate essay score, right? Plus the essay happens at the very end. So in no way does it affect your performance. It's just at the end you have 50 minutes. At this point, you have no idea which universities you're applying to. If even one of your list of universities requires it, you cannot go back and just take the essay component. You have to take the entire SAT again. So it's just to make sure that you've crossed all your boxes. I would go ahead, take the essay. I don't think it's very difficult at all, but do it to be able to cross all your boxes.
So what is an ideal SAT or an IELTS score meaning?
An ideal SAT score is 1600. A good score, which would make you very competitive for most universities, would be a 1500 plus. Easier said than done, right? While a lot of our kids who we train do get those kind of scores. I think if you're in the high 1300 range, it's a good score. But please be realistic about it. Sometimes I feel kids are unable to match what their aptitude is in school with their aptitude on the SAT. So I've seen kids who are barely scraping by in school, thinking that they would suddenly max the SAT. Right? So you're pretty much scraping by with a 55 in school and you're like, I'm going to get a 1500 on the SAT. Well, you're probably not. Right? So just be a little bit realistic about what your score is going to be and please practice. You have to be well prepared for it. It's a 4-hour long test, multiple choice. That's not the kind of format that you're used to. Plus, it is 4 hours of intense focus. Without doing a minimum of 8 to 10 tests, you're not going to do well.
How many of you can put up your hand and say, I'm confused about what course to take up, which college to join, whether to study in India or to go abroad? How many of you are confused about
Yeah, of course, it's bound to be jumbled up, right? And I feel if there ever were a right time to speak to a professional, it would be now. Because what's happening is, as I see all, each one is an individual and I would hate to give anyone generic advice. Everybody should do this. Everybody who wants to study this should go to this country. Because you are not everybody. You are you, you have your own preferences, your own constraints, things that work for you, things that don't work for you, things that the parents want. What is the larger picture? Right? So I think this is a great point to perhaps speak to your parents and say yes. Instead of asking me, what do I want to do in my future? Why do I not have it figured out? Help me figure it out. Right? This is exactly the work that we do individually to understand what is your paradigm and help you figure out for you what is best. And trust me, an external person who does this for a living can bring a lot of clarity. Even things that can seem very daunting are things that we can clarify very quickly. And look around you, everyone's confused. It's normal, right? You're not the exception, you are the norm. Okay, so should I give you a case study of what a good profile looks like and how we can work towards getting into a great university? Would that be exciting?
Yes.
Okay.
And your parents can also talk to Shaista, because they are also confused.
Actually, right? So this is Shashank. He has just started his fall semester at Stanford doing computer science. Supremely excited to be there. This is, Ami. She's studying architecture at Cornell, which is the #1 school for architecture. And last year she topped her class and earned a scholarship for topping her class. This is Abhinav Dutt. He just sent me a student this morning. He's at University of Chicago. Not only did he get into the University of Chicago, he got into Chicago with a scholarship, which is pretty unheard of. This is Rishabh. He's studying at UC Berkeley. And on Thanksgiving this year, he sent me the nicest message of thanks. He got into all 12 schools that we applied to. This is Karan. He's killing it at UCLA. He's a part-time DJ and he is loving the scene there. This is Vatsal. He's studying at NYU. This is Shreday. He's declared a computer science major at University of Michigan. This is Aniruddha. He's now entering his 3rd or 4th year, I'm confused, of medicine at the University of Oxford. He is consistently topping his class and I have told him that he is now going to be my doctor when he graduates. So what is the purpose of today? My main aim today was to try to give you a few insider secrets to help you make a few mistakes. most importantly, to help you plan ahead. Just to show you the timeline, even if you're applying to a few Indian schools that work on an international timeline, right? Most of you will go to college either in 2020 or 2021. But you apply a whole year in advance. So I know that we're thinking, we're not even in 2019, though in my head we're already in 2019. Why are we having this conversation? I'm going to go to college in fall of 2020. I have so much time. I don't even have my exam for next week figured out. And now she's talking about 2020. Right? And the 10th graders, they can't see beyond their boards. Now what is she even talking about? God, I have to study more than this. I thought I was finally done. Why is this happening to me? Right? But you need to plan ahead. Why should you plan ahead? Is planning ahead going to increase stress or reduce stress? Do you all actually believe that?
Yes.
You all see that, right? So planning ahead doesn't mean I'm going to add 15 more things. I'm going to tell you of all the things you need to do, when can you do it to be most efficient, giving you the most amount of time for Fortnite and Netflix, just by careful planning. So my way of working is very different, right? Please don't stop the things you love. You're only going to be 15, 16, 17, 18 once. I have the best high school experiences. But I also don't have regrets. I had my own startup at 16. I was featured in multiple magazines. I still run that business on the side, it's in gift packaging. It helped me get my first internship. I worked at the Times of India when I was, I think, 17 and a half, which helped me get my first internship. I did 2 colleges at the same time, so I sort of did the whole dual degree thing. So I was very productive. But I made some of my best friends during this time as well. I went to every party, I had a great time. So what I'm trying to get you all to do and share with you all the secret of is having it all, not having to give it up. So this is not a place where I feel just study or just work. It's have enough fun as well. But to be able to do that, we need to plan ahead, right? And I don't preach what I don't do.